Welcome to CouveCast, the City of Vancouver's official podcast, hosted by Steve Harris. Each episode is a mix of city insights, stories, behind the scenes, and hopefully a few laughs along the way. No jargon, just real talk with the people shaping Vancouver's future, one episode at a time.
Well, welcome to CouveCast, the City of Vancouver's official podcast. I'm your host, Steve Harris, and this is our next episode in our series about creating a new flag for the City of Vancouver. Today, I'm joined by Rose Mendoza, Chair of the City of Vancouver Flag Selection Committee, to discuss the flag selection process. Well, welcome, Rose, and thank you for joining us.
Hi, Steve. Thank you for having me.
So to start right off, why did you join the Flag Selection Committee?
I joined because I thought it would be an exciting opportunity to continue to support my community. I currently sit on the Culture, Arts, and Heritage Commission, where I've had the opportunity to serve for the past year or so. And when we were presented with this, this really cool new thing, I got kind of excited.
That sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, I grew up here, so it was, something that I wanted to be involved in, something that I hope is, relevant to the next generation, that kind of a thing.
So since you grew up here, before the selection committee came to be, were you aware of the current city flag? Did you know what it was?
I wasn't
See,
actually.
so you're an example of this.
I was one of them. I promise.
Yeah. I think a lot of people fit in that situation. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And in the last episode, someone you're familiar with, we talked with Ted Kay, renowned vexillologist and author of Good Flag, Bad Flag. How helpful was it to have Ted and the NAVA's advice?
I found it personally to be extremely helpful as someone who's less familiar with flag design. Him going through all of the standardized flag principles and what it should look like. I had no idea that, the colors, the shapes, and all of these different things played such a huge role in the design of the flag. So it was really interesting to hear all of those little fun facts and snippets while we were going through this process.
He seems very knowledgeable. We spent 2 episodes with him, and he personally owns over 500 flags. That's incredible.
I didn't know that either. He's very excited. He was so excited about the entire process and was very much, not to say a cheerleader, but very much a cheerleader, very much rooting us on the entire time, and even helped facilitate that first round of, dwindling down all of the flags that were submitted.
I'm assuming that with him there, 138 flags, I'm sure it was daunting at first, and then with him helping you, I'm sure it kind of felt like, okay, well now we're kind of getting some footing. We kind of have a direction now. Mm-hmm. He's kind of pointing us with some of the ways we should be going with this.
It was definitely reassuring because there were some, obviously oh my gosh, we love this so much. And then he would come in with his expertise and think about these elements and how it's going to fly, or the different colors and how they fade. And so just a lot of those little bits that were oh, okay, maybe not, maybe we didn't necessarily think about at first. It was really helpful as we were kind of going through that process and okay, maybe this one wouldn't work as well as this one would per se, based on, this criteria that was just presented. So I found it to be extremely helpful.
Excellent. How did the committee balance design principles with what the community valued in a flag, or balancing tradition with the desire for a fresh, modern look?
I think one thing with this question in particular that I would like to point out, and just in the process as a whole, is that, like you said, the first flag, a lot of people had no idea.
What happened there?
Yeah, they didn't know. I think based on, the history and the stories that I've been told, because this was even before my time.
Right.
That the council, I believe at the time, or individuals within the city council at the time, just chose a flag. They didn't want to do, or maybe decided not to do the whole.
We should have one.
The community process, and you know what? We should have a flag. They put up a flag, and it was there.
Yeah.
This round was very, very intentional. With we had 2 members of city council, 3 commissioners, including myself, and then 2 youth participants, one of which was our co-chair. So we were very, very intentional on having this very diverse committee, this very multi-generational committee with all of these different insights and lived experiences and expertise. From the 138 community submissions to the public feedback to everything that the residents had to share with us, they really did help shape this entire process. At least we that was the hope. We really wanted everyone to be. We really wanted everyone to be involved. This wasn't just the committee. This was a community process as a whole.
Absolutely. Which is important, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And with the 138 submissions you mentioned, how difficult was that to narrow it down to just 6?
It was pretty difficult, like you
Yeah.
said. Like Ted was a huge help in that very first round. We had it was the Aspen room here in City Council, where we had all of the flags displayed on the wall. So as soon as we walked in, all of the prints of 138 different beautiful flags.
Flag room, yeah.
Yes, the flag room for sure. So it was a bit daunting at first, but like I said, with the criteria, definitely helped dwindle that down. There was a ton of really great ones. There were some funny ones too, ones that were, they were just goofy and they were just entertaining. So
A good mix.
Definitely a good mix.
Yeah.
But it was helpful to arrange the ideas and kind of, go through that based on the experiences of the committee and with the input of the committee. It really was just a highly collaborative process.
Yeah, excellent. So the committee blended elements from different submissions to create 2 new flag options. What made you decide to do that?
Ultimately, it was the stories of our flag designers. We had, once we got it down to a handful of flags that we thought represented Vancouver in various ways, whether it was geographically or just the different elements and whatnot. Ultimately, it was the designer stories and the similarities, and we wanted to try to blend those a little bit. So that was the real drive behind that.
Yeah, I could see that. Certain flags, there's elements from those that you'd like to pick and maybe combine to make a single flag of combination of those 2. Yeah, I could see that. So were there any symbols or colors that sparked debate or strong, opinions?
I think there was a lot of greens and blues. We're in the Pacific Northwest, so we figured those would be really strong elements. As Washington as a whole, there's a pretty strong connection to our sports teams and whatnot too. So in the first round, that was one of the considerations that we had to keep in mind, was what was distinctly Vancouver versus something that could be, referred to one of our Washington sports team as a whole. So trying to make that, try to differentiate those 2 and really, find something that would really fit. I think another thing that we really tried to touch on too is trying to distinguish Vancouver from Portland, because that was another thing, was a lot of the flags that focused on the geographical region as a whole, with the river and the land and the fort and all of these things. Some of them had like Portland in it, which is great. We're so close to them and we are, sister cities in a way, but we are not Portland. And that was just one of those things that we really wanted to highlight, is that we are Vancouver. We're very proud to be here, and just really focus on our community.
Makes sense. Yeah, highlight the city of Vancouver and its community.
Yeah, very much so.
The committee hosted an event to raise the 6 finalists on the flagpole that's in front of City Hall. And you, of course, were there. Was it exciting to meet the designers and learn, more about them?
It was, I think being able to have the designers present while we were raising the flags, one, it was really cool to see the flags up there. They were, got to raise them themselves. So that really, it's one of those exciting things.
That was probably exciting for them.
It was. I mean, I got excited.
Some of my kids there that were doing the raising, that was pretty neat.
Yeah, and I got to help with some too, because we were, part of that, and I got excited, but I think it was really nice to be able to humanize the designs, because when we're presented it, we have sheets of paper on the wall and then a stack of paper in front of us with a description, and yes, we have their their name and their reasons why behind it, but to be able to connect with them and to hear their stories from their voice is far more impactful than the sheet of paper ever could have been.
And the chance to see each one up there. Hey, what does it look like up there? This was what it would be if it's flying up in the breeze.
Yeah, well, and then you look over and you see the flag and you see them admiring that's their work too. They our artist finalists are all from Vancouver or work in Vancouver or from here, so they're very much of and for the community. Yes.
Yeah, and it must have been, it felt like quite an achievement going from, like you say, from just a room of flags to actually seeing the final ones going up on a pole.
Well, and to have them all, all made up and flowy and stuff, it was really cool to see.
That's very awesome. And speaking of that event, we actually had a few of those designers speak at the event, and we're going to go ahead and listen to their comments about that day and how exciting it was for them. So here we go.
I just want it to bring a greater sense of sort of a distinct Vancouver identity, that people feel like this is a city with its own sort of soul, and that they're a part of, and they're all part of a city that's bigger than themselves. I'd love to see it on patches and tourist stuff.
I honestly did not expect to be selected. When I came down here, when I saw all 138, and I was like, there's no way, there's so many good ones on here. There's no way I stand a chance. But yeah, I got the news and I was just so excited. And yeah, I just hope that the community likes it and they see that I try to put a lot of effort. Even though it looks really simple, there's a lot of thought behind it, and it did take a lot of time.
I think it instills, kind of a sense of pride and a sense of identity. I travel a lot outside of the region, and everyone knows Portland, but not a lot of people know Vancouver, Washington. So whatever, small part that we can play in helping to put Vancouver on the map, so to speak, and just instill pride in the community here.
Okay, well, that's they're definitely excited. It sounds like it was a great day.
It was a beautiful day. And it didn't rain, thankfully.
No, it didn't rain, and hardly any wind, as a matter of fact.
We got a little wind. We got a little lucky, but not as much wind as we were hoping for to see the flags in their full glory.
Yeah, but definitely the excitement was there. And the kids, like I said, their kids, some of them being there was fun too.
Oh yeah, very, very fun.
So now, speaking of the committee, I heard that the committee received 1,438 responses on the finalist feedback tool. How did the committee use the diversity of perspectives, and how was it reflected in the final decision?
Yeah, so the community is very passionate about the flag. We definitely took that into consideration with the feedback tool. We took it very seriously. Obviously, we wanted the community involved as much as they, had capacity to or allowed to, all the things.
Sure.
Most of the feedback that we were given was very thoughtful and constructive. There was some negative. There's always going to be some negative in there. We kind of anticipated that. Like I said, people are very passionate about this project, as they should be. This is going to be their flag and for their home.
Yeah.
There was some strong support for symbolism. Others thought maybe they were a little too abstract. So there was a lot of mixed feelings, I feel. But all of this was, we used this tool during our deliberation process throughout every activity that we did to help dwindle down to the finalist. We had our community feedback present and was using that as a tool throughout the whole process. So very much, leaning on that. And actually, our two, our finalists and then our runner-up were scored the highest amongst our finalists. So we're hoping, people people can find something that they like.
I think that says something. That's a fair amount of turnout for responses, and it's important that you show that it's community driven, and that's not taken lightly.
Yeah, and very different from the first round. So just trying to keep everyone involved.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. So when is the proposed flag going to City Council for consideration?
So that will be happening on November 10th. I will be presenting along with my co-chair and Laura from the city. We'll have a whole presentation. Will be a big reveal with the artists. So if you're able to join in person or listen online, please do so. We could use the support.
And this is the November 10th City Council hearing.
Yes.
Yeah. So people aren't able to watch when it's live. Of course, CVTV does record that, and they can watch it, at their leisure. Well, that's very exciting. I'm sure the finalists will be very excited. So are all the finalists then going to be present at that, or how would that be?
I believe we're inviting them, and our final two artists will be presenting the flag once we finish our presentation. So they'll, stand up and do the big reveal to City Council.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. What do you hope this new flag will represent for future generations of Vancouver residents, and how do you hope it will help connect to Vancouver's identity?
I really hope that our next generation is able to find connection in the flag, to really see the meaning in the geography, in our deep-rooted history, in the future moving forward, because this really is meant to be something for them. It's
maybe somewhere besides just in the council chambers.
I hope so.
Businesses and community.
and schools, stickers,
library.
All the things everywhere. I think our hope ultimately is this is something that people can be proud of, that people can, fly and, all the things. So.
I've heard the rumor tattoos. I mean, I don't know. It can happen.
Ted keeps saying that is how you know a flag is truly made it, or how you know a flag is truly iconic, is once people start getting tattoos of it. So we'll see who gets the first Vancouver flag
so
tattoo.
if everybody on the flag committee now gets a tattoo, yeah.
We do have some youth members, so I don't know if we can do all that yet.
Might be a little bit of a hard push.
A little bit.
Hard sell on that one. Okay, well, that's about all the time we have for today, Rose. I want to thank you for joining me today. If you want more information about the design and selection of the new city flag, be sure to check out the website at cityvancouver.us/flag. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend, leave us a review, or fly your civic pride a little higher today. Until next time,